All right, everybody, welcome back to Behind the Nine. Had a small hiatus. We got a little busy working, racing, fortunately winning. So yeah, happy to be back. We've got a really special guest here. One of my favorite personalities I've worked with over the years, Michael Carber. How you doing?
Good.
Can I just call you Carber?
Yeah, it's fine.
That's
That's
cool.
what everyone calls me anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll get into it. Talk a little bit about you and the Nine, your experience. You were the front end mechanic for 2 years with us, right? 18 and 19, is that right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, 2.5 or 2. Yeah, whatever.
2.5.
Yeah.
18,
'Cause
19.
it came on halfway.
So unfortunately, we were just talking about when we won our first race, you were on hiatus. Baby watch,
Watkins
right?
Glen, we had our first kid. So, I mean, it's good and bad. I missed the first race, but I also now can always remember that first one.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly
So-
significant for you to be able to tie the two together.
And then I screwed down this year, or last year, threw him a curveball. And
You
I
came
said-
to me like
said
3
I'm
days
not-
before
said
Daytona.
I'm not
and said-
traveling anymore. I'm
Yeah,
done.
yeah.
I got home with the kid and didn't want to travel anymore, so I told him I'm done. See you later. And they kept me in the shop, which was great. Did some different things, learned a lot, different aspects, but then they won the championship. So it's good because I still get, the Hendrick bonus, so I'm happy.
That's good. We've
If
been
they
looking
win, I
for,
win. So.
I've been looking my whole career for that human parachute that's always been holding us back. So is that you or wasn't you?
Wow. I don't know. It depends. It could be me, but there's sometimes.
No, I'm just kidding. You're a huge asset, a great friend. So let's talk about, you went from on the road, digging, loving life, family, off the road, working in the shop here. So last year you did a lot of prep on the cars. Tell everybody a little bit about that. You did all the prep on the cars. You got them ready because there's a long period of time during the pandemic that we weren't even here, right? So you were basically having to be road crew at the shop.
Yeah,
the
it was
cars
tough.
had to be race ready. So you
Yep.
went from on the road. The good thing for us is you knew everything the way we wanted the cars, the way the cars needed to be, and then ultimately you were implementing that across all 4 cars back here at the shop. But during the pandemic, you were basically putting the cars in the box, putting them in the truck.
It worked well
the whole
because, I came off, everything was going smooth, COVID hit, but fortunately, the car chief that I was with, Josh, he came off when I came off. So we gelled pretty well, and we just hit the ground running, and when COVID came, he took on a higher responsibility, and then I was kind of in his coattails, and we would get the cars ready and just make sure that they were as good as we could get them, or as good as Alan likes the cars, to our capability, or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, it was challenging, and then we finally got the guys back, and it went well. I thought we did pretty good as an organization during COVID. We might have got a little bit behind just because we were stretched thin, but it all worked out in the end, and we caught up, and we ended up ultimately winning the championship. So
yeah, huge deal. I mean, that was so. I wasn't here, so I think you can give everybody some insight when we initially went into the first pandemic phase.
yeah, we were here grinding, and you were at home.
Yeah, I was at home. That's exactly right. I was at home, my feet kicked up.
Mountain biking,
Mountain biking,
road biking.
yeah, road biking, exactly.
No, I remember.
So you were working, we had 2 shifts.
Yep.
You were working 3 one week, 4 the next week. Is that the way it worked? 3 days one week, 4 days the next week?
No, this was a sour deal. We were weekend shift.
You were weekend shift. Okay, so
we
then
got stuck. It was supposed to
you
be
were
a rotating schedule.
You were the squeaky wheel.
And we got
on the
stuck on
shift.
weekend shift.
Yeah.
Yep.
So tell us about the schedule. How did that work out?
So it was a 3. So we were every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, every other Sunday. So I think we were Group B. Yeah, blue group,
Yeah.
Josh knew. So we were Thursday, Friday, Saturday, every other Sunday. So our weekends, we worked on the weekends. But at the end of the day, it didn't matter because we still had our days off. But yeah, we complained about it a little bit.
Nice.
We'd like to get after, but at the end of it, like I said, it came around. And I think then we transitioned. Blue group then went to weeks, or went to Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. But I think, if I remember right, it only lasted about a week, and then we brought everyone back.
It did. You're right. And then everybody came back. For me, I just remember a lot of conversations, a lot of Teams chats.
Yeah.
I remember you busting up our Teams meetings, coming in there.
Yeah, we'd get in there.
Yeah, getting right in
You
the
got to
middle
bring
of it.
joy to it.
Yeah.
And you guys are all sitting around.
Absolutely.
Sometimes moping.
Absolutely. So that was a lot of fun. So yeah, navigated that. Obviously, you guys did a great job. We ran really well during that period of time. But what I want to talk about today, one of the big things I want to talk about, is we're getting up really close to the Chili Bowl. Dirt
Yeah, it's
World.
all that matters right now.
It's all that matters, right?
Yeah.
So for the fans at home, we have a large contingent of kind of real dirt enthusiasts.
Yeah, that's one thing I actually love about this place. There is a lot of, short track across the board. A lot of short track racers, a lot of people that follow it, a lot more than follow it than I expected follow it.
A lot that race it, which we're going to talk about a little bit.
A lot of people that race
A
it.
lot of people that race dirt. So to kind of set the stage a little bit here, the Chili Bowl, which I'm not a dirt guy through experience, certainly a fan of it. So I don't really know all the ins and outs, but the Chili Bowl is getting ready to go down this week. How many cars are there?
I want to say, I'm going to be wrong on this number, but like 310-ish.
310 cars.
About 70 running, whatever the number would be. They split it up. Each guy
Sure.
runs one night.
Right.
So
our buddy Chase, our
He's
main
in it.
man, is in it. So he's run some races at Millbridge. So you've got a lot of dirt background. So we're going to get into the dirt background. You're going to give us a little insight to the Chili Bowl. And so tell us about your dirt background. Tell everybody at home really how your experience driving and your dirt experience and how it's led you to this point.
So I always grew up racing, family. Started running quarter midget when I was 5. Went on, got to the 410 ranks, ran Central Pennsylvania for a while. We probably raced 100 times a year. I was very fortunate. Now I was young, got to go overseas. I went to Australia about 6 years in a row, I think it was. But like I tell everybody, and really my brother's in the best spot he is because he's older, he understands it a little more. I was 17, 18, 19. I was immature. Didn't get, you're just, when you do it, that you're like, this is your life, So there's a lot of stuff I look back on that I wish I was older and more mature than I was then to realize what I had. And then it's like I tell everyone, once it's gone, it's gone. So long story short, career doing that ended once it stopped, and people weren't, say, paying for my driving anymore. Then I went and sitting around, I was mowing grass with my dad, and dad owns a landscape company, and Jessica Zemkin called me to go to Knoxville. I went to Knoxville, worked on that car. It was when she was driving for Stewart. Then it just led to going all-star racing with her. And then I was in Indy, so then I went and worked with Damian Gardner for 2 years, USAC deal, non-wing. Pittman called me in the end of 12, and that's what brought me to North Carolina. He called to see if I would come work at Casey Kane Racing on the Outlaw deal. And then that's what brought me here. 2013, we won a championship with Cale. I was with him for 14 on the 9 car. It was Cale and Darren. And then I crew chiefed Brad Sweet on the Outlaw deal in 15. And then I got fired. So then I was like, I'm done. You're gone so much. It was just building up to, I wanted to eventually get off. So I went and worked at Penske, did some Xfinity stuff. And then that's when Alan called me. I was with them for like 2.5 years, and they gave me the opportunity to be the front end mechanic on the 9. So that's my legit short story, summing it up how I got here.
You got a huge amount of dirt experience. We'll touch on a few key points because I want you to describe to everybody kind of what Chase is going to go through this week at the Chili Bowl, which isn't easy. So, tremendous amount of dirt experience. You still race at Millbridge.
Yeah, we screw around a little bit, micros here and there. Not as serious as
you. Which we watched this, which was super cool. You were on the pole for an outlaw race at where?
Williams Grove.
Williams Grove, and led basically.
Yeah, that's the race that I look back at now, and I gave it away, and was probably, it was probably one of the highlights of my career. We led to a restart, and I drug him down real slow, and we both went to the bottom. Solwald went down there with me, and we bumped wheels, bent my ladder, and we ultimately ran 5th. So there's a lot of things I could have changed there, but you just look at it now, and you're like, dang, the one that got away.
So great amount of dirt experience. Your brother, Brian, right?
Brian.
Wins a lot of those micros.
So micro stuff right now, he's on it. Yeah, he's at the top of his game, and we'll see how this week goes. This is his I don't want it to be that way, but it's a shot to see how he
So
goes.
he's running the Chili Bowl also.
Yep.
So your brother Brian, Chase, very little dirt experience.
Yes.
Very little dirt experience.
Yep.
A couple races at Millbridge. Your brother, a lot of dirt experience in different cars. They're going to Chili Bowl. Tough ladder to climb. Kind of give everybody a little bit of insight at home of what that experience is going to be like and what they're going to have to go through and how they're going to have to get to the main event and the probability of that.
It's a learning curve. I mean, it's like I tell everybody too, and I read someone's post on Twitter. It's funny, you see all these names that go and run the Chili Bowl. Like, you're not just going to get in a midget and go win the Chili Bowl. There's guys that run it midgets all the time, and that's what they do as a job. So you see like drag racers and stock car guys and all, and it's all a learning curve, and there's so many different racing cultures that come together. But every time you hit the track, you got to go. And it's like I talked to my brother a couple days ago, and he's like, my micro stuff, I feel like it takes about a lap and a half to get really going. He's like, I need to expedite that time and do it in half a lap because it's all passing points. So they'll get passing points for heat race, passing points for finishing positions, and they'll run a qualifier, and then they'll run a main event for that night, and top 2 lock to Saturday. And realistically, to have any kind of shot to even get to the A-main, you need to run probably top 7, top 8 on your prelim night.
So you go to this place, this track inside of a dome or whatever that is out there, and they just set this dirt in there. You're in a car that and your brother in Chase's case have very little, if no, experience in it all. And you get 4 laps to get it dialed in. So you go get the practice for 4 laps, and then you're going to go on your night. You're going to race a heat race, and that sets the lineup for the main.
So you have a heat race, then you have a qualifier.
So
and then
a qualifying race or qualifying laps?
It's called a qualifier. So like they'll take high points guys, so you get passing points and finishing positions, then they'll invert, say, I'm just making a number, I don't know, 16. So then you'll have to start 4th in your qualifier, and then you'll get more passing points, and then that'll line it up. Pretty sure I'm right on this, I could be wrong. But then it lines up the main and you go.
Right, so you're gonna basically get 4 laps practice, then you gotta get in it, you gotta get after it, you gotta pass, you gotta go.
Yep.
You gotta start accruing passing points through these 2 races to set the lineup.
And the worst part is
for the main, and you need to be in the top 2.
In the feature,
in the feature.
To be locked into the shuffle for the A.
And there's basically 300 cars there.
There's 300 some cars, and it's probably one of the hardest races.
What percentage chance do you give Chase and your brother of being successful and making the A and ultimately, finishing well in that race?
For my brother, I don't know. For him to really make a statement, I think he needs to get Rookie of the Year, and I think he needs to at least get to the B main Saturday night. He needs to be on TV. He needs to get to the B main Saturday night. If he makes the A for Saturday night, I think it'll be really, really good for him.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially for now Chase. I think if Chase can get on Saturday night, if he can get into a C main, that is a very successful trip for him. And I know C main sounds C main, but you got to remember there's N's, M's. I mean, there's way
tons
more.
and tons and tons.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's been interesting for the fans to watch, all the Chase Elliott fans, obviously, and everybody. I think it's great that Chase is going and racing these races because there's a lot of people across the country who really don't know about the Chili Bowl, don't understand what's going on there. So guys like him and Larson and Christopher Bell that go and run there bring a lot of exposure to it, and hopefully get some new fans to tune into it on TV and check it out.
It is so good for short track racing. It's so good for dirt racing. And I saw so much good stuff out of just that Millbridge race that Chase ran the midget. Reading social media is everything now. So you read that, and there were so many people that were on one side of the fence and now have jumped over to the other, pavement race, but they were so impressed with Chase. And it's not the finish, but they were impressed that, say, he didn't run the bottom, he tried to get up top, he tried to do different things, move around in the car. That's the one thing you see with Chase, like and guys that are so successul, they get in and they might be slow at first, but they pick it up about 5 times faster than, say, I would. In the time.
Yeah,
so
agreed.
they do it so much quicker. It's still going to take some time to get to that level.
Yeah, I mean, there's no bigger Chase Elliott fan than me. I think the kid is amazingly talented. I have no doubt in my mind once he gets some experience with winning these races. The question is just how long is it going to take him?
And it seems like he's enjoying it.
Absolutely, to get that experience that he needs to know what he needs to do to win. And I think he'll win them He's just gonna, the question is how long it's gonna take him to get that experience. So incredibly talented and just amazing race car driver, regardless of the discipline. And I think he's gonna prove that to a lot of people. We talked about your dirt career. We talked about the upcoming Chili Bowl, which is great. Hopefully the fans can tune in and watch that, watch Chase compete in that and kind of get a new respect for those disciplines. Hopefully those guys will put the GoPros on online and on social media. And
Yeah, I saw my
things.
brother had one on for practice, which I was.
That is super cool. So for people who aren't familiar with this, with those open cockpit cars, they put the GoPros on the roll cage. You can see their hands. You can see them working the wheel. You can see the perspective of the drivers. And it's really, really cool. It's really, really fun to watch. So hopefully Chase has his on there. Brian Carber, you can check his out if his is on there. And I'm sure
It's just it's cool to hear the sounds and the
so
pedal
cool.
work.
It's such a great perspective. Unfortunately, our cars are so big that you really can't get that same view. You can't get as good a view from the driver out of the cockpit as you can on those little midgets with the cameras on top. But those things are great. So hopefully people will check that out. So hey, before we let you go, any funny stories? We always like to ask everybody funny stories. This is your opportunity to make fun of me or any of your teammates throughout your career on the 9. What stands out to you?
Funny stories. I don't have money. The only thing I can remember is you is when you got mauled by a dog riding your bike.
I hit a dog. He was fine. German Shepherd. I wasn't so good.
And then just a good group. I mean, that's what I always say about the 9 group. It's not micromanaged. Alan trusts his people. He trusts the process, and I think that's what makes it successful. And it just you let the people do their work, and that's from Chase. That's from nothing's critiqued. Everyone just does their job, and it's a well-oiled machine. It rolls, and it doesn't matter if you put new faces in it. I mean, you showed it. There was so many new faces this year, and you guys still won the championship. So,
yeah, empowering people. We got great people here. I'm super lucky to have all the great people around here, and then and trust them, empower them to do their job. So that usually. Employee-owned companies. That's what I like. The way I like to think about it. So the employees own the 9, and that's why I think their heart and soul's in it. But thanks for hanging out with us.
Yeah,
thanks for kicking it. For everybody, all the behind the 9 fans, thanks for tuning in. Sorry about the big gap. Luckily, we put the time to good use, but we've got some great folks coming on. We obviously had Michael Carber. We have Eddie Hunt. We've got a couple special guests that we're not going to unveil. So we're going to get back at it before we got to go racing and work on getting behind line back going. So thanks to everybody for tuning in, YouTube, Facebook. Great.
thank you.
Love it.